I'm Janae, and this is Jason. We've embarked on the adventure of a lifetime. We're two ocean-loving Aussies travelling the world by sailboat and making movies along the way. Tune in every week for new episodes. Enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe.
Why don't you lie so well? Put your mind at ease, disconnect and let your feelings run wild. These storms won't last.
So nice to see some sunshine. Hopefully we can enjoy a little bit of it today. If you're all caught up on last week's episode, you'll know we had problems with our autopilot, and after investigating further, we found the autopilot bolt had completely snapped in half. After retrieving the bolt, we decided to head straight into town to see what we could find.
We're gonna walk 1 kilometre to the marina, hoping they have a chandler there that can direct us in the right direction to get this bolt. But I think we're a bit out of luck until we get to a bigger town. But
Fethiye.
I'm not even sure if they're gonna have it.
But if we ring them,
Yeah, we'll ring ahead, tell them the bolt size, and
might be able to order it in for us.
yeah. Yes, we haven't actually explained what's happened, but I've opened up the section where the autopilot is, and it just fell on me. The autopilot just literally dropped right on top of me, and I noticed that the bolt has snapped off where it attaches to the steering. So we're in look for a new bolt now, but it's a very special bolt. It's not like a normal kind of bolt. And I looked online and they're about £60. So what's that, 120?
That's not really the issue, it's finding it. Or being able to get it.
Yeah, it's more so how we get it.
Conveniently happened when we're not at a marina anymore. We can't just order a part in easily.
We've had so much shit go wrong with the boat.
Like fully stopped for me.
I just ran in front of a car.
And then I'm like, I'll just wait. And he like completely didn't, he could have just gone and I would have gone after, it's fine.
Yeah.
And he fully stopped to let me across. They do that here a lot.
Yeah, we've had so much shit go wrong with the boat the last 3 days. We literally fix one thing and then another thing breaks. It's never ending.
I think it's because the boat's been sitting for a month. It just, all the things that are, I don't know, maybe on the end, just...
Cut off.
Yeah.
See, there's people doing boat works in here, so there must be a chandler. Oh, they got tennis courts and everything here. You should have stayed here, hon.
Well, there's people swimming down there.
I know, it's winter, you motherfuckers.
We're off already. We've only been here for a few hours, but we are...
Got a lot accomplished.
We planned to go over there, but when we went to the marina to see if there was a chandlery there, we found a nice anchoring spot there that looks super protected. So we're gonna head in there and maybe go for a sneaky drink at the bar there. It looks really cool. They've got like a wine bar and like a cool little bar that's got all little trinkets and reminds me of something out of Byron Bay or something. And maybe a sneaky shower in the marina because they were open, so.
I'm playing on my phone while, no, I'm actually getting the navigation.
Drink driving, playing games.
It's easy to see from down here. Fall not swinging in the warriors one.
The next morning we popped into town to pick up our new bolt and picked up the anchor to sail north to Fethiye. Don't ask me what these gooey things were, it was all over our anchor and chain. Unfortunately, we couldn't check into Castellarizo, the Greek island just 4 miles off Kaj, so we had 2 days to be in Fethiye to have our PCR test done before checking out of Turkey the following day. Oh, and we forgot to film it, but we fixed the autopilot. Yay, it was just the bolt. Thank God.
We're about maybe 5 hours into our motor. Poor engine. I think we're going to stop over a little bit earlier to a place called Butterfly Valley. We're just not sure on the wind direction, but we'll go have a quick squiz and check it out, see what it looks like. But yeah, it's just been an upwind battle. The wind's picked up now. We've got between 15 to 20 knots of wind. And the waves are real short and choppy, which is not ideal. I'd rather them be bigger and longer between waves.
It's not really scary though. It's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty...
Not too much bigger if it's scary.
Yeah.
There won't be any butterflies at Butterfly Valley because we're going at the wrong time of year, but it looks like a nice beach, so it'd be nice to see it anyway.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And we've got some nice weather for tomorrow too, so we might spend the morning there. And then what time do we have to get our PCR test? Whenever.
Yeah.
Spend the morning there and then go sort our life out. Go get groceries and stock up on everything before we leave, because it's so cheap here compared to Greece, especially the islands. So we'll just go ham, I reckon. Stock up for a few months.
Yeah.
And then just get the necessities when we go to Greece.
Just fresh stuff. We checked out Butterfly Valley from the boat, but it was way too rolly and exposed to spend the night. So we found a few other coves that we could tuck into for the night about 2 nautical miles further, in Oludeniz. We were treated to the most beautiful sunset, and even though we had to motor the entire day, we had an enjoyable day out on the water. But only a few hours into the darkness that night, things took an unexpected turn for the worst. So we ended up picking up a mooring ball last night. It was really quite windy, and we came into this bay, and a guy came over in like a little tinny, and we were like, oh, can we anchor here? And he's like, oh, mooring ball. And we're like, oh, how much is it? And he said, oh, you come to my restaurant. So he helped us pick up the mooring ball, but we weren't expecting it, so I was in a bit of a panic, didn't know if I needed a line or not. Then I needed a line, so I've just kind of quickly put it on. He's struggling to try and get it on for me. And then last night I felt nervous about it because I said to Jason, I don't feel like I've done the loops properly, and there's not a lot of line like poking out the end, so if it slips or something. Anyway, the wind's gotten worse during the night. It's now, what time is it? Almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and we had an anchor alarm on, luckily, otherwise we would have been completely stuffed. And I heard like a clunk noise, and Jason's like, oh, it's been doing that noise all night. And I'm like, really? I haven't heard that noise. Next minute my anchor alarm goes off and it says ship floats off. Jason rushes upstairs. He's left the keys in the engine just in case, because it's so windy, and we're literally floating into the rocks. We were like a matter of 10 meters away from the rocks, and so we had to try and drive away from them. Obviously a sailboat engine's not very powerful, and we were just struggling. Like we weren't moving at all, and then we've got all the instruments on. The wind gauge showed like 45 knots at one point. So we went ahead, tried to drop the anchor, then we started getting really close to another lot of rocks, had to pick it up again, go into a different area and then drop the anchor again. So we've dropped it, we've dropped basically almost our whole anchor. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna sleep tonight. We've lost the floor to our tender. That's flown out and gone somewhere else, but that was the least of our worries. So maybe we can see if we can find it in the morning. If not, see you later to that. But yeah, so stressful. Like, we're both just rushing with adrenaline and freezing cold because we're out there bloody half naked trying to get the boat to, oh man, I can't even think straight at this point. Anyway, fingers crossed, no more dramas for tonight. I don't think we're gonna sleep because we're gonna be watching this where we are. I'll try and show you. Listen to the wind. I don't think I actually explained what happened. I forgot. So the line completely snapped, like frayed and snapped in little bits. So that was our lesson, to use 2 lines. So if it ever happens, we've got another one. I just feel like an idiot. I thought of doing 2 lines, but because it's so that like if it slipped, we had another line. I did not think it would snap. Yeah, very unlucky, but now I'm just on edge, I can't relax. After trying to re-anchor in the new spot, we couldn't get good holding. It was like nothing could go right that night. The chart said it was shallow enough to be an anchorage, but the depth turned out to be about 20 meters deeper. So Jason asked me to pick up the anchor again and try to reset it. I could feel the windlass struggling and said to Jason, I think something is wrong. Then all of a sudden the windlass motor got stuck on up and wouldn't stop, so the chain and anchor were coming up into the anchor locker at full speed, and there was nothing I could do. The anchor came up and flew into the track really hard and ended up getting jammed stuck. Because it was jammed, we couldn't put our anchor down, but we were hours away from a marina and there was no way we were going back around the corner to pick up a mooring ball again in the dark and the crazy wind. So our only option was to motor around in circles in the semi-protected bay while Jason tried to unjam and fix the windlass. About 4 hours later, he managed to get it unjammed and we just had to throw it over and hope for the best. We decided to wait till daybreak to figure out what to do. We managed to get about an hour's sleep on and off. It's probably hard for you to see, but out there, it's just gusting so hard that it's picking up the water. There's actually a water tornado happening just there. Jason, there's literally a tornado, a water tornado. It's just such a mess out there. It's doing all sorts of things. I can just see water flying up everywhere. It's probably really hard for you guys to see because of the sun. We tried to leave this anchorage to go to Fethiye and go into a marina last night, and we got out there and it was just insane, blowing like 45 knots. So we came back in and attempted again to put the anchor down, and Jason ended up putting it down manually by hand, and luckily we finally grabbed, and we're in a very small anchorage, so there's literally like land everywhere. So we were so worried all night that we were gonna go into the rock somewhere, but we didn't get anchored until about 5 a.m. We were just treading water, going around in circles in this bay for hours and hours, just trying to fix the anchor. So we're only getting a couple of volts.
About 4.68 volts into the voltmeter. It's a 12 volt box, but I just don't know Why it's not reading enough volts.
The wind that we experienced last night was completely unpredicted. It blew about 30 to 35 knots stronger than predicted. We decided we would try to wait out until the early afternoon when the wind was supposed to drop off before making our way into Fethiye. Unfortunately, the wind picked up stronger in the bay we were now in and was coming from every different direction, and we were dragging towards the rocks. We couldn't seem to manually use a windlass winch to pull up the anchor, so we tried attaching a line to one of our back winches with no luck. So Jason then made the decision to drop our anchor and chain. We got stuck in 55 knot wind gusts making our way from Oludeniz to Fethiye. Long story short, we finally managed to tie off in a marina. Jason got stuck into trying to fix our windlass straight away, even after a sleepless night. We're heading back to the spot only a day later to see if we can pick up the anchor chain. So we've just got some advice on how to do it. So yeah, we'll see when we get there how we go. Wish us luck. I'm quite nervous to go back. I feel like I've got a bit of PTSD over it. But I guess the only way to get over it is probably to go back there and hopefully have a successful day. Get our anchor and our chain and hopefully our tender floor as well, which we lost in the thick of everything all happening. So it was the last of our worries at the time, and it's still really, we'd rather get the anchor up than worry about the tender floor. But yeah, we were supposed to check out today to cross over to Greece, which we obviously can't do without an anchor and a chain. It's just not safe to do that in case we do need to anchor somewhere. So we went in and talked to our visa, our kind of yachting agent, and he said we can overstay up to 90 days. It's fine. You do pay a penalty, but it's only like, it was $70 per person, plus if we stayed the full 90 days, it only ends up being 160 lira per person, which is about, say, $16 Australian. So it's really cheap. And it's not like a big problem to actually do it. So we didn't have our passports stamped out or did any documents or anything. We just wait till we're ready to actually check out and leave, and then everything gets sorted then. And then we just go to where we have our passports stamped and we pay the penalty then. So I was a little bit worried because I did ask him to put something in writing for us in case we got pulled up, but he's like, no. He insisted it was fine. So I just messaged him on WhatsApp, which is where I've been contacting him, and got him to send me the price of how much he said it was going to cost, just to kind of cover our bum with that. But we will be going back to him when we actually check out, so he'll sort it all out for us anyway. So hopefully we don't have any issues there. Yeah, and we're kind of happy that we get to stay up to another 3 months, because it was a bit of a traumatizing experience and we really don't want to have to cross over to Greece when we don't feel ready. We just want to make sure we have everything service that we wanted to service, that we kind of run out of time to do, and maybe just go when the weather is a little bit more settled. So yeah, anyway. We just wanted to announce we have launched our Patreon site. For those of you who don't know what Patreon is, it's a membership style platform where you can support some of your favourite independent artists, whether it be videographers, musicians, podcasters and the likes. For those of you who wish to share your extra support, you'll be helping us to keep creating content and improve our videos along the way by funding new camera and audio equipment, cool things like scuba gear so we can ramp up our episodes under the surface, and so on. To say thank you for your extra support, we'll repay you with special perks like early access to our episodes, behind the scenes and bonus content, live Patreon only chats, the list goes on. Thank you everyone for subscribing and supporting us so far in our journey to sail around the world and show you our world along the way. You're the best. Oh, and there's a new episode already waiting for our first Patreons. Enjoy.